correct rendition should be rescinded his decision in respect of the suspension of the following members forthwith. I think that correctly captures it. Yeah. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, honourable members. Let's make progress. Page 9.
Mr. Speaker, still on page 8, under the corrections to the proceedings on Friday, 31st January, Roman numeral 5, I believe we are referring to the name of the popular town, Esikado. So you should spell E-S-S-I and not A.
Table office, take note. Page 9.
Yes, Speaker, again, page 9. The first name, Mr. Roxanne Nelson Dafiamepo, is supposed to be N-E-L, not N-E-S.
Table office, again, take note. Yes, Honorable Ntimfojo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to indicate my disagreement with the submission made by the Chief Whip of the majority side, requesting for another category to be created for members absent on suspension. Mr. Speaker, our rules are clear.
Honorable Fojo,
Order 40.
we have not acceded to his request.
Then your guidance,
so that put the matter to rest.
Of your guidance, Mr. Speaker.
That put the matter to rest. We've not acceded to his request, so that matter is moot. Thank you very much. Page 9.
So the conclusion of that is
Page 9. Page 10. Page 11.
Is to pass and members of parliament.
Where are you reading from at page 10? As indicated.
Yes, I said the second paragraph.
Yes, the second paragraph says he further called on chairperson of the various committee.
No, that's the first paragraph. The service one is a continuation from...
The Right Honourable Speaker assured
that is correct.
The Parliamentary Service Board has put in very well.
Yes.
What about it?
Yes, so my comment is the rendition of the needed support in the discharge of their duties to Parliament and members of Parliament. I'm just making an indication that that statement has to be looked at again.
The needed support in the discharge of their duties to Parliament and members of Parliament. Is that where you have the problem?
That is so, Mr. Speaker.
It's correct.
For you, okay.
To Parliament and members of Parliament. Honourable members, page 12. Honourable Agbana.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, you mentioned 13 earlier, so...
Very well, we are now on page 13.
Page
Your concern about
13. 15V. Mr. Charity Gardner, Regional Minister, Hafo Region. Mr. Speaker,
it should be Mrs.
Madam...
Mrs.
Well, I don't know her marital status, but it's the appointment letter indicated Madam Charity Gardner. It's Mrs. Okay.
Well, you are right. In any case, it cannot be Mr.
Yes, please.
So, table office, take note. Page 14. (15) 16 Yes, Honorable Majority Whip.
Speaker, thank you. Speaker, under page 15, item number 3, in attendance. So, Speaker, the practice is that in attendance will capture non-members of the committee who have participated in the proceedings. But I see that the Honorable Jerry Ahmed Shaib, who by the terms of Standing Order 2177 is a member of the committee. So his name should feature under attendance. That is for substantive members of the committee. So if the table office can take
Well, Honorable Member, looking at Order 2177, he said the leadership may participate in the deliberation. So if you are talking about the membership, then we are looking at Order 2172, 1 and 2.
Speaker, according to the standing orders, when any member of the leadership of the House participates in our proceedings, they have voting rights. So I think that once he attends and participates, it should be captured as though he was a member who was in full attendance. I believe this matter we can litigate it.
Yes, it is. It is very arguable. Yes. You are a member of your district assembly.
Yes.
By virtue of the provisions in the Local Governance Act.
Yes,
but you don't vote.
Yes, but the law is very clear that I don't have voting rights.
Yes.
But in this case, they have voting rights.
As to whether they will have a voting right or not is a different debate altogether.
Speaker,
so I think let's hold it the way it is.
Okay, all right.
16. (17) 18. Yes, Honorable Mahama Shaibu.
Mr. Speaker, I try catching your attention since you got to 1415. Mr. Speaker, I note that
you are taking me back to page 14.
Yes, I was up.
Very
14,
well.
14. I note that after adjournment, Ebenezer Huma Jetro, there's usually an AG attached to the name clerk. Is it a mistake or there's something that we should know?
No. Ebenezer Ahuma Jetro is no more in acting capacity by the exit of the former clerk. He is now a substantive clerk. That is why the word AG is not there. 17. 18. Yes, Minority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, for what you have just brought to our attention, I believe that as a House, we cannot look at it with our eyes closed. That a man who has served this Parliament all these years, rising to that high administrative office as a substantive head of this institution, as a substantive head of this institution, though he's not a member of this House, but we know the role he plays in helping this House. So, Mr. Speaker, without prompting, please grant me leave under your inherent powers to say a few words It's important that my respected colleague.
I will grant you the leave. But if you permit us to complete the vote and
Very well.
proceedings, then the leave will be granted
all
you.
Depends on
very well.
how you would administer
Most
discretion.
grateful. Most grateful.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Page 18. Yes, Honorable Member.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And I try to catch your eye on this issue. And I still think it's important I bring it to your attention for further guidance. Because my honourable member, Boama, raised a point as to the rendition of a paragraph 2 of page 8 or page 10. And you said that it is correct. But per our standing orders, if you look at the interpretation of members, Mr. Speaker, Parliament, per our standing orders, and even it refers to Parliament of Ghana established under Article 93(1) of the Constitution. And if you read Article 93(1), it says that there shall be a Parliament of Ghana which shall consist of not less than 140 elected members. So inherently, if you say Parliament, you are referring to the members of Parliament as well. And if the member raises an issue that the rendition of Parliament and members of Parliament, he thinks it is problematic, I think you should take a second look at it, because Parliament refers to members of Parliament. I so submit. Thank you very much.
So, Honourable Member, is your view that we don't have Parliament and members of Parliament? Is that your view?
Mr. Speaker, my view is that when you say Parliament and members of Parliament, it amounts to, if you like, tautology. And members of Parliament is in specific reference to the people elected. And if going by the standing orders, that would be the reasonable interpretation, Mr. Speaker.
So, Honourable Member, how will you refer to Parliament as an institution?
Mr. Speaker, that is why they say the institution of Parliament. And that qualification always comes in when you are referring to the institution of Parliament, to differentiate it from that of the members of Parliament. Thank you.
Honourable Member, I would urge you to read Standing Order 93.1, Article 93.1, 95.1, and 124.3. Thank you very much. Page 19. 20. Yes, Honorable Chiwete.
I'm most grateful, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sorry, I have to take you back to page 17. Item XVI. Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Minister Designate for Savannah Region has Isifu as part of his name. He is Honorable Salisu Isifu Biarobe. Or Biarobe Isifu.
Very well.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Table office, take note. Page 20. '21. 22, 23, 24, 25.
Honorable Speaker, sorry, I was on my feet, you couldn't.
Very well, Honorable Member.
Page 23. Item LXVIII is Togbiga Patamia Jekle.
And the Togbiga does not have an H at the end. Togbiga, there's no H. Patamia, there should be an I before the A. P-A-T-A-M-I-A-H. And Jekle instead of Jokle. And the next item, Mamaga also has no H. And it should also be Asieku, not Asiedu. Mamaga Asieku, the fourth.
Table office, can you take note?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, very well, majority, Chief Whip.
Speaker, on the same page, Tagbi Ababio, the fifth, is actually the acting president of Volo Traditional Council, not area. And then on the same page, item number IXXX, Ohiniba Efriye, Mr. Speaker, the Benkumhini will have to, they have to recheck the records. It has to be Benkumhini of a certain community or town, but a member of that Tebubu Traditional Council. So the record, they may have to check that for.
Very well, table office check the record.
Thank you.
Honorable members, in the absence of any further correction, the vote and proceedings, you want further corrections?
Yes, Speaker, for clarity, Mr. Speaker, on page 25, the special committee that's been set up, Mr. Speaker, the mandate, as I understand it, is to look into the events which occurred on 2 specific dates of our hearings, and they appear to be missing. And so I believe that if it should reflect a special committee to conduct a full-scale investigations into the events which occurred at the public hearings of the Appointments Committee on Thursday 30th and Friday 31st, specifically.
Most grateful, table office take note.
Thank you very much.
Honorable members, in the absence of any further correction, the votes and proceedings of the 11th sitting, dated Tuesday, 4th day of February 2025, is hereby adopted as the true record of proceedings. Honorable members, a statement has been admitted in the name of Honorable Dr. Zaneto Ajiman Rollins on the need to implement multidimensional measures to address the disturbing trend in cyber crime. Honorable Chief Whip.
Speaker, with respect, before our colleague reads her statement, may I bring to your notification that we had an earlier conclave with the second Deputy Speaker, and John Abudoyo was there. 2 issues I had brought to his notification that I wish to raise, same matter, for the House floor. 2 issues. First one has to do with a promise by the leader of the House that on the back of advice given by the Speaker that some matters, even though relevant, shouldn't be discussed on the House floor. We should engage properly at the Committee of the Whole. I would wish to know from the front bench these matters that are very important to us all, not just first-time MPs, but the entire House. And because the leader of government business had...
Honorable Minority Whip hold his second Deputy Speaker should be ready to take the chair.
Speaker, I wish to know from our colleagues if we can have a confirmation of a committee of the whole. To be fair to the leader, respected leader, this morning he engaged me, but it goes beyond me. We have to carry the entire House along on such sensitive and important matters. So I'll need the front bench on our side, the opposite side, to confirm this to us. Then again, on the composition of our committees, we are all aware of the delay. So let me put on record that on our side of the minority, we are done. We have given the report to the committee clerk. The last time I engaged my colleague, the Honorable Whip, he gave a reason which now is not tenable, and I don't want to go into details of it. The reason he gave now is not tenable. So, and we are aware, you had rehashed 24-hour economy, the relevance of it, even though His Excellency has said that this is not compulsory. 24-hour economy. In the context of 24-hour economy, and we want to support you to prosecute your 24-hour economy. And up to this time, you still haven't submitted your list. So it's not good enough. Our backyard, they are not happy. Colleagues are not happy. The delay is unacceptable, totally unacceptable. And we in the minority cannot be part of this delay any longer. We have done our part, and now that we have taken full responsibility of the powers of the Speaker, I want to further pray you that between today and tomorrow, the committee of selection chaired by the Speaker should stand in and call for a meeting for us to give finality to this matter. It's unacceptable. And the government side, the Deputy Majority Leader, what are you saying to this? The delay is too bad. It's too bad, and our people are not happy. Our colleagues from the back, everybody is not happy. Is that not the sense? Colleagues, is that not the sense? We are not happy. So, we can't go beyond Friday. We shouldn't go beyond Friday. Respected Whip, welcome to the portfolio.
Well,
please.
Honorable Minority
Because
Leader,
this is my plea.
The point
and
is,
it's not injurious.
Your point is well made.
But they have
I will
to
give the opportunity to them to respond.
Speaker, most grateful. Speaker, indeed, we had agreed sometime last week to hold a committee of the whole joint caucus to discuss these pertinent matters. But that did not happen. So, fortuitously today, the joint caucus meeting is captured and is part of the business that we will attend to today. The issue I was hoping he would raise would have been the timing, whether that should happen before members are permitted to take their statements or it should happen immediately after statement time. But he completely came after me. So I want to assure him that we'll deal with it today. We'll hold joint caucus today and deal with those pertinent matters he alluded to. Then two, yes, we engaged. And I told him that I had one final tying of the knots for me to be able to properly constitute my committees. And I'm done. These are my reports, standing and select. They are ready. And so you may not be aware this morning, but my work is prepared, it's cooked, it's baked, ready. So I want to assure him that we are also ready with our committees. So once, Speaker, at your convenience, either later today or tomorrow, we can convene a committee of selections and properly constitute the appropriate and relevant committees so we can move into action.
Very well.
Yes.
Very well.
Mr.
Minority
Speaker,
Leader, any concern about
yes,
this?
Mr. Speaker, I don't think the Majority Chief Whip paid attention to all that the Minority Chief Whip said. I don't know whether he's become aware that the President has made some further nominations for deputy ministerial portfolios. You know, you are forming your government at a very slow pace, and that is affecting oversight. You heard my respected colleague behind me, popularly known as OPK, Honorable Davis Opoku. He is of Mpraeso, the MP from Mpraeso. He said, your actions are affecting oversight because you are in government. So don't be selective in your response to the respected Minority Chief Whip. You are creating the impression that merely holding 2 files amount to you haven't completed your work. But today, your government has made further nominations. Can you assure this House that you make yourself available to complete this committee work? Because we are anxious to work. There is fire burning in the bellies of our members. Mr. Speaker, today we are seeing some illegalities happening at the central bank. Somebody has been nominated, not appointed, pending National Council of State approval. Once you are nominated, it goes through Council of State. Council of State would have to review, engage the President on the suitability of the nominee. NIB, National Investigation Bureau, would have to do background check. That's just as it's done for ministerial nominees. All these are supposed to be done. And the man is at the central bank. In fact, the new head office, which was commissioned by the previous government, with media, parading himself as a governor of the central bank. How does this parliament oversight when you are disabling parliament from performing its functions? And this is being done by the majority. Mr. Speaker, there are so many appointments flying here and there in the media. The only institution to bring such actions to scrutiny, to scrutinize these actions, is Parliament. We come here, we do public hearing for your nominees, we approve of them, and that is all. What happens to our oversight? And it's all because it is coming from the John Dramani Mahama government. The delay is coming from your government, led by John Dramani Mahama and Professor Nana Opoku-Agyeman. That is what is happening. So the Minority Leader raised this important matter. The Minority Whip raised this important matter. And you have decided to ignore him. It is not just a mere matter he's raised. As for the other matter, it is for the entire House. I will not go there. I am interested in the oversight. So, Mr. Speaker, please go to Jubilee House. Prevail upon them to ensure that they get their list full. We are also waiting for other nominees. If you look at the Vice President's office, they have appointed so many advisors. So many advisors. We have a Chief of Staff in the office of the President, another Chief of Staff, office of the Vice President. So many political appointees. These are supposed to be fair.
Honorable Minority Leader, my information from the Majority Whip is that today or tomorrow the issue will be handled. So I believed we have to allow that opportunity. If the issue is not handled, then we have a cause to complain.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I agree with you, and you know, we always have great respect for the chair and to you as a person. But, Mr. Speaker, to raise an important matter affecting Parliament is a bona fide of a parliamentarian, and that is what I'm doing, so that he takes everything on board as a whole. That is why I'm trying to draw his attention to the fact that there are other matters of oversight, including certain appointments at the presidency. So many appointments, so many committees are being inaugurated all over the place. The only body to oversight and to ask questions is Parliament, and we do so through our committees. Through our committees. Where are the committees? At the Vice President's office alone, about 15 political appointments. 15 political appointments. Meanwhile, you say you are limiting yourself to 60 ministers. We are not only looking at the optics, we are looking at the entire appointment you are making in this your government, not only 60. Don't confuse us with only 60, and then we are now going to pay attention to the ministers. How many special assistants and personal assistants and advisors they are going to appoint?
Honorable members,
you will confuse us. Mr. Speaker, I will rest my case. Mr. Speaker, I will rest my case.
Please conclude.
I think I've made enough points.
Yes, conclude.
I will rest my case, but they have to be diligent and do the right thing and heed to the call of the respected minority chief whip. Answer him accurately and give assurance to this house. We are going to hold your feet to the fire.
Thank you very much. I will then proceed to recognize Honorable Dr. Zanato Ajiman Rawlings to read her statement. On the composition of the committees?
Yes, Mr. Mr. Speaker, just can you sit down, please? Can you sit down? What I'm going to say, the leader will need to respond. I don't want you to get up twice. So, I don't want you to get up twice.
I'm mindful of recognizing the Deputy Majority Leader.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I think what my honourable friend, the leader, has just said is something that has already been addressed by my chief whip here. That within today and tomorrow, these issues you are talking about, with regards to the composition of committees, will be addressed. In fact, just yesterday, this House was recommended with a speed at which we have been able to vet and then approve nominees. We've done 42 out of the 60, and a new list has come just today, and that will also be dealt with. So I don't actually see, where you are actually coming from. The issue has been addressed. He's just shown you files. And you will see, he showed you the file, you wanted to see what is inside. You will soon see it. We are actually going to have a joint conference where some of these pertinent issues you have raised, today that will be addressed. So, just calm down. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
The issue raised by the minority chief whip has been responded to, and we've been assured that it will be concluded between today and tomorrow. So we will constitute ourselves into the appropriate committees to be able to look at the issue. What do you need my guidance on regarding this particular matter?
I am very gracious for the opportunity for you to giving me this opportunity to seek your guidance on this very important matter. And I'm happy that both the minority leader and the deputy majority leader raised the issue. You see, we are building a democracy, and we must improve. This House, when ministerial nominees are expected to be announced,
it comes to you, the Speaker, first. You read to the public gets to know. Today, Mr. Speaker, the trend is that the names will be leaked to the press before even you get to know. I need your guidance on it, one. And two, if Mr. Speaker, if this list is correct, 15 names have come out. In fact, 16 names have come out, leaving just 2. I am not going to choose for the president. I don't have the audacity, I don't have the gravitas, I don't even have the power to choose anybody for the president. But I find it very odd that the brother of the man who made President Mills the vice president sitting in this house, 3-term member, and he's not a minister. I also find it very odd.
Honorable member.
The daughter of the founder of NDC is sitting in this house, and she's not made a minister.
Honorable Nitiwul.
I find it very odd.
Honorable Nitiwul, you are out of order. Please resume your seat.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Please resume your seat. Honorable Majority Whip, let's put this matter to rest. Please, let's put this matter to rest. I have ruled him out of order. Kindly resume your seat. I proceed to call on Honorable Dr. Zanato Ajiman Rollins to read the statement.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker, for the opportunity to make a statement on the need to implement multidimensional measures to address the disturbing trend in cybercrime. Mr. Speaker, I'm grateful for this opportunity on the alarming rise in cybercrime cases plaguing our society, particularly through social media platforms. This issue hits close to home, as I personally have encountered and still do multiple fraudulent accounts across various social media platforms, including Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, LinkedIn, and WhatsApp, which I have had to report countless times to the Cybersecurity Authority and the Ghana Police Service repeatedly. This is in spite of having verified accounts on all aforementioned platforms. One major challenge is the length of time it takes for these platforms to respond to fake reports, to respond to accounts of fake accounts, in spite of having received verified accounts of various persons, and several fake accounts are opened daily by these criminals. These malicious actors are not only impersonating public figures, but also deceiving and exploiting unsuspecting individuals, causing severe financial and reputational harm. Mr. Speaker, this country needs to be more stringent and targeted with its legislation in place in order to protect individuals on these platforms, and the greater public should have more education on safety online. This disturbing trend extends nationwide, extending and affecting not only members of parliament, but also other citizens. The consequences are dire, tarnishing hard-earned reputations and eroding trust in our digital interactions. Despite commendable efforts by the Cybersecurity Authority and Ghana Police Service, including recent high-profile crackdowns, many of these cyber criminals manage to evade justice, escaping prosecution due to what appears to be a disconnect between the modus operandi of our court systems and the extremely fluid and high-tech nature of cybercrime. There have been instances where individuals, in spite of overwhelming evidence to their complicity in these crimes committed, were released, and equipment which was used in criminal activity containing evidence of same released back to them on the orders of the court. Mr. Speaker, clearly, this would create a scenario where criminals would feel a sense of impunity as they continue to operate on a daily basis, destroying reputations and causing damage to individuals financially and psychologically. Mr. Speaker, addressing this growing cyber fraud crisis demands a proactive and comprehensive approach. Of key importance is enhanced interagency collaboration between the Ghana Police Service Intelligence Unit, the Bureau of National Communications, the Cybersecurity Authority, and other relevant agencies. Effective intelligence sharing and coordinated operations are essential to identify swiftly and apprehend these criminals operating within our borders. Some high-profile incidents in Ghana underscore the need for such advanced technology. For example, the high-profile kidnappings of 2 Canadian women in Kumasi in 2019 and the disappearance of 3 Takoradi girls in 2018 were managed with the use of technology and interagency and some external support, which highlighted the growing challenges faced by these law enforcement agencies. Moreover, Ghana's role as a transit point for drug trafficking, particularly cocaine and heroin, has been well documented. And in 2022 alone, the Narcotics Control Commission seized a staggering amount of 59,900 kilograms of illicit drugs at our ports, emphasizing the need for enhanced surveillance tools to combat organized crime. Mr. Speaker, I'm mentioning these examples because of the pivotal role that the internet and mobile devices have played and continue to play in serious transnational crimes, and the need to appreciate the direct link between cybercrime and organized crime, drug trafficking, armed robbery, transhumance, but to name a few. The reality is that cybercrime and cybercriminals exploit mobile devices for a range of illegal activities, including phishing, fraud, identity theft, amongst others, necessitating proactive measures to protect our citizens, which brings me to the technology required to monitor and investigate and ultimately arrest these criminals. Given the novelty of this trend of criminality, the establishment of specialized cybercrime courts to be presided over by judges proficient in digital law and cybercrime would be of immense benefit. The mandate of such courts could be to expedite trials and ensure thorough adjudication of complex cyber cases. This would have the combined effect of empowering the Ghana Police Service to fully invest time, money, and human resources towards the investigation of cybercrime, as well as serve as a deterrent for criminal elements, ultimately protecting our citizens and providing justice for those seeking redress. Mr. Speaker, alongside strengthening legal frameworks, we must invest in enhancing the technological capabilities of our law enforcement agencies through, for example, the acquisition of an IMSI catcher tactical van for our police service. This essential piece of equipment, which is effectively for use in combating cybercrime and armed robbery as well, is called the International Mobile Subscriber Identity Catcher, and is a sophisticated device designed to intercept mobile phone signals, enabling law enforcement to track and monitor communications. When integrated into a tactical vehicle, it becomes a mobile unit deployable wherever needed, greatly amplifying our surveillance and investigative capabilities. It provides real-time tracking and interception capabilities crucial for apprehending criminals swiftly and enhancing public safety by reducing response time to incidents. Furthermore, it facilitates the gathering of admissible evidence, thereby strengthening our legal case against offenders and improving law enforcement. However, I do hasten to add that the application of such intrusive technology raises the very legitimate concerns about privacy and the need for strict regulations and oversight of agencies to prevent misuse, ensuring compliance with existing laws, and safeguarding civil liberties. These are important checks and balances to prevent the abuse of power, provide transparency and accountability in the gathering and use of intelligence. Law enforcement experts and cybersecurity professionals generally endorse acquisition of such assets, reflecting widespread support for enhancing police capabilities among the public. This technology, I reiterate, is essential for bolstering our police services' ability to combat evolving threats of cybercrime and armed robbery, thereby securing the safety and security of our citizens, with the proper legal framework and oversight in place, of course. This integrated approach will enable real-time intelligence sharing and proactive responses to criminal activities, aligning our strategies with global best practices. I would therefore like to end my statement by summarizing a few recommendations. Number one, that the greater interagency collaboration and coordination, particularly the Ghana Police Services Intelligence Unit, the Bureau of National Communications, and the Cybersecurity Authority. Two, that special courts be established to deal with cybercrimes. 3, procurement of equipment and technology to enhance crime-fighting capabilities of the Ghana Police Services and other intelligence agencies. 4, to establish the requisite legal framework and effective legislative oversight to protect the rights and privacy of citizens from abuse of potentially intrusive technology in the hands of state agencies. 5, legislation that would compel entities like Facebook to make it more difficult for their platforms to be used as a medium for criminal activity. And finally, that greater public education is provided so that people do not engage in financial interactions via social media for any reason whatsoever. Mr. Speaker, this is a statement that was actually written and initially submitted last year. So I'm sure that the current ministers who have specific duties in the relevant sectors will be able to speak to this. I thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for your attention on this matter.
Honourable members, I'll give you the opportunity, but I want to invite Honourable Kennedy Osenyako to also read the statement, which is almost similar, so that we discuss it together. So, Honourable Member for Aguna Swedru, Akim Swedru, yes, let's listen to you as well, so
Thank
that
you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
we take the comments together.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to make this very important statement on exploring the synergies between technology and digitalization to enhance revenue mobilization effectiveness. Mr. Speaker, I rise today to deliver this statement on exploring the synergies between technology and digitalization to enhance revenue mobilization effectiveness as we approach the reading of the budget for the 2025 fiscal year. Mr. Speaker, economic transformation has been at the core of development planning in Ghana, and revenue mobilization remains a prerequisite for the effective implementation of government policies, plans, and programs. The above perspective boils down to the ability of the Ghana's tax system to generate the needed resources to fund projects essential for resilient growth trajectories. Indeed, the unreliability of aid flows, the long-term growth implications of concessional loans means that government of Ghana is left with the option of strengthening domestic revenue mobilization effort. Mr. Speaker, since the mid-1980s, Ghana has reformed its tax institutions to reduce its dependence on aid. Despite this reform, Ghana domestic revenue mobilization remains low. The Ministry of Finance, on October 10, 2024, published an updated survey of the Ghana tax system, produced jointly by the Center for Tax Analysis in Development Countries. Mr. Speaker, this survey provides information on Ghana's tax system as of January 2024 at 13.8% in 2022. Ghana tax to GDP ratio remains below the government target of 18 to 20% by 2027. Though this ratio is almost 6 by 2027. Though this ratio is almost 6% point higher than in 2000, it continues to fluctuate. It has made marginal gains since 2017. In 2018, Ghana was one of the 7 countries in Sub-Saharan Africa whose tax to GDP ratio stood below 15%. Mr. Speaker, the finding of the report is a repository of key information for policymakers to set out the key policy initiatives and recommendations towards effort to enhance tax revenue mobilization in Ghana by exploring the synergies between technology and digitalization to maximize revenue, ensure quality and dynamic customer service delivery. These measures to be delivered by Ghana Revenue Authority are necessary to meet the government medium-term revenue strategic objective of 18 to 20% revenue to GDP ratio by 2027. Mr. Speaker, in the last 2 decades, the Ghana Revenue Authority has embarked on a new approach focused on the digitalization of tax transactions. The goal is to cut down on in-person transactions in tax administration, making the process faster and more cost-effective for both taxpayers and tax officials. To achieve this, most domestic taxes are now managed online. In 2019, the Ghana Revenue Authority introduced the Integrated Tax Application and Preparation System to make these transactions smoother. Mr. Speaker, this system provides an easy use of online platform where taxpayers can directly engage with tax officials, simplifying the entire tax process. Mr. Speaker, data for the Ghana Revenue Authority annual report gives evidence to suggest that the movement of revenue mobilization activities from manual processes to digital platforms is leading to some gains. The GRA's revenue performance over the last 5 years has shown steady improvement, underscoring the impact of digitalization on Ghana's tax system and administration. 2020, Mr. Speaker, Ghana made a revenue of 45.5 billion. In 2021, Ghana made 57.43 billion. In 2022, Ghana made 75.34 billion. In 2023, Ghana made 113.43 billion. In 2024, Ghana made 153.5 billion. Mr. Speaker, this is a record-breaking milestone driven by digitalization. Over the past 5 years, the Ghana Revenue Authority performance has increased from 45.5 billion to 153.5 billion in 2020, a remarkable 237.6% surge, largely driven by digital transformation. Mr. Speaker, it should be noted on record that over 70% of revenue in 2024 came from digital platforms. Mr. Speaker, digitizing Ghana Revenue Authority operation